Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. Is TCG Players Infinite Subscription still worth it in 2023? They've made some subtle changes to it in the last year and in the way they administer it with respect to the bonus bucks sales. So I'm going to go through that and then give you some numbers and help you decide if it's worth it or not. So the one subtle thing they've changed in the last year is this right here. You only get your extra bonus on orders above $35. And I don't know if there's some particular diseconomy of scale within the way they've structured their business such that orders under 35 just aren't advantageous for this, or if they're trying to get you to give in to the sunk cost fallacy and think, oh, I can get that $1, which is $35 times 3%. I can get that $1 cash back if I just go ahead and spend all the way up to 35 bucks. And, maybe they're toying around with that, trying to figure out where that threshold is and get people to make bigger minimum purchases, which really is the point of subscription programs. So you still get the same free shipping on all your orders. You get the basic cash back based on how long you've been a member. I guess now you get these Channel Fireball Pro articles. Who knows if those have any actual value. And that percent basic cash back, you get 1% from the start. After 3 months, it goes to 2%. And after a year, it goes to 3%. So, of course, I made a spreadsheet and we can look at this and see two scenarios. And so the reason we have to model two scenarios here is that when they offer a bonus bucks sale, you get your basic 1 or 2 or 3% cash back as a function of how long you've been a subscriber, but then you will also typically get 10% more cash back during the sale. And so we have to make a couple distinctions here. Are you going to never buy during a sale? So let's say you're somebody who just brews decks a lot and you buy a lot of miscellaneous singles, maybe once or twice a week. You make a tiny order for singles and you don't really indulge on big lots of cards during the sales. You don't buy cases of sealed product during the sales. So mostly you're just buying outside of sale time. You're only going to get that 1 or 2 or 3% cash back, not the additional typically 10% from there being a sale. And so within that, we have to say, are you joining today? In which case your average cash back for the year is going to be about 1.75%. And again, that's the average of 1% for the first 3 months, 2% for the next 9 months. And if you're an existing member, we'll assume that either you've been an existing member for 12 months already and you're already at the 3% level, or you're probably going to hit that pretty quick, and we'll just go ahead and estimate that 3% is pretty much what you're going to have the whole year. And so under those circumstances, these two assumptions, the break-even monthly spends are these amounts, and then all I've done here is multiply them by 12 in case your brain thinks in yearly durations better than monthly durations, because the reality is your spend may be lumpy over the course of the month. It's probably not going to be the same amount every month. But what we see is that if you don't ever take advantage of that extra 10% during bonus bucks sales, well, you need pretty high spend per month, $200 to $400 per month, depending on how long you've been in the program. And so maybe that's worth it to you. Maybe there are some people out there kind of who fit that profile, who build a lot of decks, do a lot of brewing, and buy a lot of single cards, and maybe they're up at that level. But I think a lot of the people watching this channel, they are mostly buying during the sales. And so we have the same distinction between people joining today and people who have been members before. But what we've done is we've taken these percentages from here and we've added that extra 10%. And now here's really one of the first assumptions in this analysis. It's that 10% will be the percentage into the future. And through most of 2022, most of the sales were 10% additional cash back. There were some that were 8%. They typically had other restrictions, like they may be sealed product only and no singles, or they may be sealed and supplies. There were some weird ones. There was one that was MetaZoo, Digimon, and Pokemon, I think, something like that. But for the most part, the typical sale is 10% additional bonus bucks. So that's why I've added 10% onto these two right here. And of course, if you're getting that extra percent back, well, then your payoff is a lot lower. And like I said, I think this better represents a lot of people watching this channel. It's people who are spending more money overall, and they are focusing their purchases towards those bonus buck sales to get the lower prices, 10% additional lower. And so at that point, it becomes really easy to justify. In fact, if you even go out here to the 1 year of what does your overall spend have to be for the entire year if you're only buying during the sales, well, basically $645, that's the price of a case of standard magic nowadays. So it's not really hard to spend enough if you're in that kind of category to break even on this, and then all the rest of the savings through the year, all of the free shipping on singles and all the rest of it, that's just a cherry on top. It's additional savings and cash back for being in the program. The break even is pretty low if you're the kind of person who is buying during sales. Now, obviously, none of us only buys during sales. None of us never buys during sales. We all fall in between here somewhere. And so you could kind of take you could go somewhere between these numbers. And so you might say that if you're looking at joining today and you think you would buy both times, well, somewhere between $60 and $400 per month is going to be your break-even spend. And it will lean towards one or the other scenarios, depending on how much you do that scenario. If you are mostly going to wait for the sales, well, then it'll be closer to that $59. And if you think you might only occasionally indulge in the sale and maybe not even that much, and you still mostly buy singles, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, then you will be closer to that $399 price point for the break-even. And as always, this assumes that they're going to keep giving those 10% cash backs. It assumes they're going to keep running the sales, which I suspect they will. That's the whole point of having the subscription service, is to try to get people to commit that $6.99 per month forever in exchange for the sale, which basically wipes out the fees that TCG Player makes. Their typical market fees are around 12% or so. And so if they give you that extra 10% back during a bonus buck sale, well, that means that they have about 2% left to cover the credit card transaction fees, and they've given up the fee that they make in exchange for hosting the marketplace and doing all the work, all of the capital investment of building it in the first place. And so I think they're going to keep doing it in order to keep the bonus bucks program valuable to the consumer and keep people subscribing. Now, there is another wrench we can throw into this analysis, and that's that during December in 2022, they did a sale and they said, okay, all you subscribers come out, get your 1%, 2%, 3% normal, get your 10% bonus bucks. And to anyone who is not a subscriber, come out and get 8% bonus bucks. Just come out and get it for free. You don't have to be a subscriber. They did that for one sale. I looked back in all the notes that I've made of all the previous sales going back almost 2 years now. And that was the first time they had set up like that, where they were like, you can get a percentage if you are a subscriber, and you get a different percentage if you're a non-subscriber. And so we have to ask ourselves, if we could get 8% back for free, is this program worth it at all? But first we must ask ourselves, do we think that's going to be an ongoing deal that they keep doing into the future? I suspect not. Of course, again, the whole point of the program is to get you to put down $6.99 per month recurring spending. Even when you kind of lose interest in TCGs, you stop brewing decks, you go off and you indulge other hobbies for a few months, you're probably still going to have your credit card get automatically billed for that. You'll forget to unsubscribe. And because they make you wait a year to get that 3%, that just feeds your sunk cost fallacy even harder. And so I think that they're not going to do that kind of sale very often. I also think a big reason for them to have done that in December is to juice the revenue numbers at the end of the year. I mean, even though TCG Player is not a publicly traded company, it's owned by eBay, which is. And TCG Player will have its own management that needs to show performance to the overlords at eBay. And so it is still important, even if they're not publicly traded, that they still juice the numbers and show good metrics at the end of the year. So I'm not particularly worried about the analysis of what if 8% bonus bucks is free on future sales, because I just don't think it's going to happen that often. Now, I could be wrong with that, and I might come back with another analysis later and say, look, they've been doing 8% bonus bucks for non-subscribers now. We really need to evaluate if paying $7 a month is worth it in light of that. And that would be a much more complex analysis. It adds another dimension to these tables. So I'll do that in the future if we need to. But right now, you can look into these tables right here. You can figure out where you land and whether it's worth it for you. And remember, just the free shipping on every order, maybe that's worth it enough for you. And those are TCG direct orders. They're not orders coming out of every card store, but direct fulfilled orders have free shipping. And maybe $7 a month for that is a deal for you if you make 2 or 3 orders already. So keep that in mind. It's not just about total spend. There are qualitative considerations also, the free shipping, and at least in the past, you got to go to the front of the line for fulfillment, and they don't say that. Yeah, they don't say that explicitly anymore. I wonder if that's still part of the service. But when I joined last year, when you made a TCG direct order, you went to the front of the line. There it is, shipped first. So it's still there. So that may be another valuable thing for you if you're not solely interested in the payback from the cashback. Keep that in mind. Let me know what you guys think. Otherwise, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot.